Greetings, duelists, and welcome to another video. So, today we're going to talk about a very iconic and legacy archetype. This is from the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX era, and those are the Sacred Beasts. Well, at least what is allegedly the Sacred Beasts. For those who don't know what the Sacred Beasts are, these are the main antagonist monsters that were debuted in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX from the old anime. And we even had a structure deck based on these cards. The whole purpose of the deck was to summon all three Sacred Beasts and have them alongside like a lot of their spell and traps. Like Cerulean Skyfire was a card like tailor-made for Hamon. Hyperblaze was one made for Uriah. You had the Awakening of the Sacred Beast, which was a really strong trap card with a bunch of floodgate effects. Like, just redo this one right here. It's really, really strong. Yeah, this is an archetype that is... it had its moments. They even have a lot of cool monsters that cheat out the summoning conditions for these monsters. Like you can read right here, it says ignoring summoning conditions. So, why are we talking about Sacred Beasts? Well, before we talk about the purpose behind the cards, I kind of want to talk about the archetype in itself. I feel like these are some of the coolest monsters that I've ever seen to date. However, all of these are very much power crept. Like, you need 3 spell cards to summon Hamon, you needed 3 trap cards to summon Uriah, and it was 3 face-up trap cards, which was even harder to summon. Raviel was the easiest one, but you needed 3 Fiend monsters, which again isn't the easiest thing to summon, either. And the payoff out of these monsters was not really that amazing. You do have a fusion monster that involves all 3 monsters. We'll talk about them a little bit later on. So yeah, this is an archetype with a really cool gimmick, but competitively it never saw some success. In the collector markets, these are some of these cards are expensive. Like the original Art of Uriah, the ultimate rare one, is almost 4 digits, or probably higher than that. You do have interesting fusion spells. Like this is Miracle Fusion for them. You do have Opening of the Spirit Gates that just can like resummon one of these if it was properly summoned. Or it can add any of these. This can also add any of their Sacred Beasts as well. Now, what if I told you that every card you see here is not gonna be relevant anymore, and we're going to get a whole new rewave for Sacred Beasts? Now, let's go into the purpose of this video. So, in Chaos Origins, we are getting new Sacred Beasts. And not only are they new Sacred Beasts, it's basically a rewave or a revamp of Sacred Beast in its entirety. We'll talk about the old cards and how the new ones mimic the old ones in just a moment. But let's start with some of these cards one by one. Alright, so Raviel, Uriah, and Hamon all have a new version. This is Uriah, Lord of Syrian Flames, Sacred Beast of Calamistic Fire, Sacred Beast of Sinful Catastrophe, Sacred Beast of Endless Eternity. You also have a rewave or a new form of Cerulean Skyfire, which is the Skyfire of the Sacred Beast. And you also have a revamped version of Fallen Paradise, which is Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beasts. Now let's talk about the old ones before we talk about all of those. Fallen Paradise is a field spell that protects your sacred beasts from targeting and destruction. And if you were to control any of them, you will get to draw 2 cards. It's not a bad field spell. However, this field spell is not a starter. It's only protection for your archetype. And the conditions for the drawing are not the easiest one to pull off because, again, all these Sacred Beast monsters, at least the old ones, were not that easy to summon unless you were using like the Summoning Beast monsters. Let's read the new one. So Fallen Paradise of the Secret Beast is another field spell, and it reads up to thrice per turn. You can send 3 other cards of the same type, monster, spell, or trap, from your hand or face-off field to the graveyard. Then you can special summon a Sacred Beast monster from your hand, deck, graveyard, or banishment. And if you do, it's unaffected by your opponent's spell trap effects. If you control a Sacred Beast monster whose original level is 10, you can draw 2 cards. You can only use this effect once per turn. So this is basically a way better version of Fallen Paradise. The cost to summon a Sacred Beast is still kind of steep. Like just sending any 3 spells or any 3 traps, and it has to be the same category as well. It is kind of pricey, but there are ways to mitigate that. Let's start with Skyfire of the Sacred Beast. So Skyfire of the Sacred Beast is a continuous spell. It reads, during your main phase, you can place 2 Skyfire of the Sacred Beast from your hand, deck, and or graveyard to face up field. Then you can reveal 1 level 10 Sacred Beast monsters in your hand. Then you can place 1 Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beast from your deck face up on your field zone. During your opponent's end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can add it to your hand. You can only use each effect of the Skyfire. So this is indirectly a starter. This is going to place the Fallen Paradise, and the Fallen Paradise is going to send all the copies of Skyfire to summon any of these. The bad side of about this card is you do have to play multiple of them. But again, this card is indirectly a starter, so technically you do want to play more of this card. The real brick is the Fallen Paradise. You don't want to be opening multiple Fallen Paradise because the cost for Fallen Paradise is super steep. But if you notice, this is up to thrice per turn, which means that if you get to the enough cards to fulfill the cost, you should be able to summon like multiples of the Sacred Beasts, like all together. Now let's talk about the Sacred Beast one by one. Let's start with Raviel. So Raviel, the revamped version, cannot be normal summoner set, must be special summon with a Sacred Beast card. You can reveal this card in your hand, add 1 Sacred Beast monster from your deck to your hand except Raviel, Sacred Beast of Eternity, then discard 1 card. So this is essentially a searcher for the archetype. This does it for monsters, this does it for spell cards, and this does it for trap cards. Raviel is technically the best one because Raviel, adding another monster means that you're cycling through your Sacred Beast a lot quicker. Its field effect is once per turn, you can tribute 2 other Sacred Beast monsters, destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, this card gains 1,000 attack for each destroyed by this effect. So I would have liked it if this had the same summoning condition as this old Raviel. It doesn't have to be specifically Fiend monsters. Maybe just tribute 3 monsters in general to summon it. That would have been really cool. But, you know, you can make the argument that that is what Fallen Paradise is for. Fallen Paradise can summon a Sacred Beast from anywhere. including graveyard or banishment, which, by the way, this kind of means that you can play Dimension Shifter in this deck or Dimensional Fissure, just because there is an easy way to summoning it. But yeah, this can just upkeep for the summoning condition of Raviel. Other than that, Raviel is just fantastic. Just searching a monster is already really good. Let's talk about Hamon, which is arguably the best starter in the entire deck, and I'll explain why. So this one can be revealed same as Raviel, and you add a spell card. Then discard one. Once per turn, if a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. If this card is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can activate this effect. You take no damage for the rest of this turn. So, this last effect is irrelevant. This burn effect is also very irrelevant. What's relevant about this card is two things. The first thing is this is our starter, because this can essentially add Skyfire. Skyfire can place the other two Skyfires, and then the Skyfire can place the Fallen Paradise, and Fallen Paradise can send all the copies of Skyfire to just summon back the Hamon, or just summon any of the other ones. So that is essentially what you're trying to do with this deck. But there is another thing that makes this card relevant, and it is the fact that it's a Thunder type monster. We'll get to that a little bit later. Now let's talk about Uriah. Uriah basically adds a Sacred Breeze trap. The field effect of the Uriah is, as a quick effect, you can target a spell and trap on the field, destroy it. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this card's effect activation. So if we read the old Uriah has the same effect, but it's only for set spell and traps, and it's not a quick effect. That makes this Uriah a lot better. Like, essentially, this card can just rid of any card in the spot. If you have turn player priority, you basically use your priority for fast effects to do this, and just wipe almost anything on the board that is problematic to you. And again, like, this isn't the hardest thing to summon if you just get to your win condition of the Fallen Paradise. This does have 0 attack, and it only gains attack for each trap in the graveyards. But that's also really cool, because what's stopping me from playing this as a sub-engine for trap decks? Imagine you're playing Paleozoic, or playing like Labyrinth, or playing like Unchained, something like that, and you just end up with a monster with so much attack because of so many traps in your graveyard. And again, this isn't the hardest thing to summon. Like, one Hamon or one Skyfire already gets you there. So now that we read all of these, there has to be a little bit more to it, right? Well, we got a new monster. This is Orchestrator of the Sacred Beast, which, if I'm not mistaken, that's the Grand Creator. Like, it has the same stats as the Grand Creator and the same type and level. So, welcome back, Grand Creator. You can reveal this card in your hand, then discard one card, and if you do, special summon a Sacred Beast monsters from your hand in defense position, except a level 8 monster. Essentially, they have except level 8 because this is a Sacred Beast by name. You can discard one card, special summon one Sacred Beast monster from your hand or graveyard into the defense position, except a level 8 monster, or the discarded card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one Sacred Beast monster from your graveyard in defense position, except a level 8 monster. You can only use each effect once per turn. So essentially what this card is just a summoning an extender for your sacred beasts. I do like that it has the graveyard effect to just banish itself to special summon like one of them. Also, this can summon any sacred beast. That's relevant because of this one, as long as it's not level 8. Pretty cool card. Also, this is a thunder monster. We'll get to why that's relevant like very soon. Now let's read the last one. This is Martyr of the Sacred Beasts. If this card is normal special summon, you can place one Sacred Beast field spell or continuous spell trap from your deck onto your face-up field. If you control another Sacred Beast monster, you can special summon 2 Martyr of the Sacred Beasts from your hand, deck, or graveyard. During your opponent's end phase, if this card is a level 10 Sacred Beast monster on your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use each effect of the Martyr once per turn. So this is very different from all the other ones. All the other ones had the condition to try to summon a Sacred Beast, like by themselves, like, you know, like this one can summon it from your deck, if I'm not mistaken. This one can summon it from your hand, or like from your hand. I don't remember where Chaos Core summons from, but this does add Phantasm counters. But yeah, essentially what all of these cards were meant for is just to summon like the other Sacred Beast. This is essentially the best one because this one can place Skyfire, which then places the Fallen Paradise, and with the Fallen Paradise you get to any of them, you summon any of them, but after that you can just spawn out more Martyrs, and which means like getting to another Sacred Beast while using Fallen Paradise. So yeah. Now we get to the trap cards. We do have 2 more trap cards. The reason this card is here is because this card has Sacred Beast in the name, which means it is searchable by the new Uriah. And this essentially is your win condition. Because if you get to 2 to 3 Sacred Beast, like this is essentially like a really strong floodgate against your opponent. So let's read Destruction Chant. Special summon a Sacred Beast monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Then if you control 2 or more Sacred Beast monsters whose original level is 10, negate the effects of one face-up card your opponent controls, and if you do, destroy it. You can banish this card from your graveyard, fusion summon 1 Phantasm Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. We'll get to this in a moment. But not a bad card. It reborns a monster and then just becomes an Omni-Negate. Like a pseudo-negate, rather. Not a bad card at all. We got Divine Abyss of the Sacred Beast. You can send 3 face-up Divine Sacred Beast you control to a graveyard, including this card. Target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Change it to face-down defense position. You can only use this effect once per turn. During the main phase, you can place 2 Divine Abyss of the Sacred Beast from your hand, deck, and or graveyard to your face-up field. During your opponent's end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can place it to the bottom of the deck. I don't like this card. This card feels really slow to me. Like, if the Martyr could have placed... Well, technically the Martyr can place the Divine Abyss, which gives it the extra 2 copies. But this doesn't get you to your Fallen Paradise. Which means all you're doing with the Martyr is just playing a situational Book of Moon at the trade of 3 bricks. If this had the effect to just summon for your like a sacred beast from anywhere by sending itself, and then book a monster, that would have been a lot better. Or if this gave Fallen Paradise the quick effect to do it, because it's a trap card, that also would have been better. This card's an L for me. I really don't like this card. I do like the other ones. So let's talk about the Secret Beast a little bit more. Because they all have discard effects, that means Dark Worlds work really well. Shaddolls work really well. Heck, even playing original Thunder Dragon plays really well, because you can play Dangers too, as well as like another example of cards that you can discard for these cards. Essentially, the problem with all these like decks or strategies is they all needed like discard fodder for them. This entirely archetype is full of discard fodders. And these are discard fodders that don't minus you. So you can just play all these cards in your deck. You can play Dangers in your deck too. And essentially you have extra utility for your monsters. Also, you're noticing this Thunder Dragon right here. Yeah, so Haman and Orchestrator are both Thunders, which means they both can summon Colossus after you resolve their effects, which is very, very neat. Speaking of fusions, we got Armatile, the Chaos Phantasm, and Armatile, the Chaos Phantasm, Phantom of Fury. These are the original fusion monsters that involved as original Sacred Beasts. This one just becomes 1,000 attack, 10,000 attack on your turn. And you can essentially just banish all the monsters to summon this without using polymerization. The Armatile, Chaos Phantasm, Phantom of Fury is essentially like board wipe for your opponent, and this can transform itself into the Armatile, ignoring the summoning conditions, which is also pretty cool. But yeah, now we got a retrain of them. We got Phantasm, Sacred Beasts of Chaos. So this is 3 level 10 monsters to make. Must either be fusion summoned or special summoned from your estuary by sending the above cards. You can only special summon Phantasm, Sacred Beasts, Chaos once per turn this way, no matter which method you use. This is a new line of text that we have. It's not every time we see like summoning methods being written in a card text. I do think that we're probably going to get more cards with this condition, like moving forward. Using 3 level 10 monsters without fusing is actually not easy to do. But it is on a 5,000 beater. So the first 2 times this card would be destroyed, it is not. I would have liked it if this card just had permanent protection from destruction. Just having it to be twice per turn is kind of weird. Like, this is basically a boss monster. Like, I wouldn't mind if you gave it more protection. Or heck, make it so the Fallen Paradise would have given the unaffected protection. And before you say that is a little bit too unfair, just look at Power Patrons. Moving on. Twice per turn and once per chain, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effects, then you can gain life point equal to half of its attack. The whole life point gain thing is kind of weird to me. Like, we already have a life point gain card on Awakening of the Sacred Beast, and if, to my knowledge, there isn't like a burn card or a card win condition in this deck that involves your life points. I do like that it's not once per turn to negate. I also like that it's once per chain. That is a way to balance this card. Uh, Pretty cool monster. I'm not gonna say anything against it. And you will see that, like, in the future, this is not like the hardest thing to summon. Like, it is hard to summon with the summoning method that doesn't involve fusing, but there are ways to play around it. So the card that I'm talking about is Heavy Polymerization. You probably already remember this card because of Lunalight. Well, what if I tell you there is a level 10 monster that you can send just to summon this thing, and it's not really costly at all? It's kind of funny that we do have the life point gain effect on multiple cards, because that would have helped the steep cost of this card. However, there is a monster that we can send with Heavy Polymerization that makes it kind of free to summon the Phantasm. And that card is Saint Azabina. Remember this card? Yeah, this is level 10. And this has 0 attack. So essentially what you can do is just Heavy Poly away 3 Saint Azabinas. And this can summon the Phantasmal Sacred Beast. It doesn't say it has to be different names. It's just any 3 level 10 monsters. So yeah, that's one easy way to summon it. It is really cool if you're going second as well. That essentially just makes this like another breaker. It's funny because ironically this also works against Lunalight, because you do have the destruction protection, which means they cannot Liger out this, and this has 5,000 attack, so this can out the Liger. But yeah, moving on. Murder of the Sacred Beast being able to summon more copies of itself also means something else. Yeah, you can do this in this deck as well. It's kind of cool how this deck has a lot of different gimmicks. Like, you can summon these cards in this deck. You can summon Thunder Dragon Colossus in this deck. You can summon Varudras as well. Like, there are a few other cool monsters that you can summon in this deck and this archetype. Like the Blackluster Link monster is another really cool one to mention, another honorable mention. You can play the train monsters as well because they are level 10. Yeah, like I said, you can play dangers in this deck as well. So it's very easy to just spam the board with monsters if you have the discard fodder for them. You can play this as a hybrid and just play like the Shaddolls cards and just like make it so you can just summon other really cool things in this deck. Outside of the Phantasm Sacred Beast, and like there's not really that many other interesting monsters to summon from the extra deck. So you can actually play Feudalist Harmonia in this deck if you want to. You can play Dominus Spark, but if you play Dominus Spark, you are shutting down Uriah's pop effect, which I don't think is the end of the world. I would actually trade Dominus Spark for this. You cannot play Dominus Impulse. You are playing like 3 different attributes. I mean, you technically can play Dominus Impulse, but you're just shutting down Hamon, and Hamon is like your best starter, essentially. But yeah, that's kind of all I want to talk about involving Sacred Beasts. The one thing that does sadden me about all this new support is that it doesn't work with any of the old cards. Like, I would have really liked it if the old cards were playable with the new Sacred Beast. Heck, like, if you would have just made it, I don't know, that these cards would work with any monster with almost the same name. Or heck, maybe just make it so this is always treated as Rabiel, the original one. Make it so this one would have always been treated as Hamon. Like, make this how this would have always be treated as the original Uriah. That also would have been really cool. And then you get to pick and choose between different copies of them, like you do with the Albas deck. I do have a few more critiques that I have with the Sacred Beast. But for now, this is all I have for you. I hope you found this informative to your liking and understanding. And yeah, Chaos Origin is not looking that bad. I actually really like what they're doing with these monsters. Until next time, keep practicing and keep dueling.